So in the last video I mentioned I was gonna just do the head gaskets on this motor, but I discovered that this motor has the 10 millimeter head bolts, and I do not like that because I can't find any ARP head studs for these engines and a 10 millimeter, especially this long. It's like 175 millimeters. So I decided just to put this motor aside and then continue with my original plan on building this block right here. So this block is ready to go. This one has an 11 millimeter head bolt. So we're gonna start building this motor. I know I've been changing things a lot, but honestly that's the best way to go. I really thought this engine had 11 millimeter. I guess Jaguar changed to an 11 millimeter in the later years, at the very end of 2012, but it's okay. Later on I can time insert this block to an 11 millimeter. Even an 11 millimeter is not that good. Honestly, 12 to 13 millimeters is the way to go, but an 11 millimeter is enough to get me into that 1,000 horsepower range. That car right there has the 10 millimeter and it's been living for a long time, pushing big power. So I wouldn't mind going with the 10 millimeter, but I got the option to go with an 11 millimeter, so why not? So yeah, that's gonna be the plan. All right guys, so for this build I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna film every single detail for you guys, so that way you guys can do it at home. So first we're gonna do the crank. I already got the bearings in. I'm gonna reuse the old ones. They're in pretty good shape. All right guys, so here I have the hardware that we're gonna be using. These are the ARP main bolts. I didn't go with the studs because those require some machining. In order to use the ARP studs, you need to machine the crank, because when you use ARP it puts a lot of pressure on the main caps, so the clearances are going to be way different than what the original clearance was. So that's why I went with these ARP bolts. Even these are capable of putting a lot of clamping force on the caps, but we should be okay. So you need 2 packages of each part number. So that's the part number for this one, and I got 2 of them. And then for this one, that's the part number. These are the ones that go on the sides, and then these are the big ones, the 10 millimeter mains, and that's the part number. So first we're gonna lube up these bearings so that way we can set our crank. All right guys, so before you do anything you gotta have the block nice and clean. We're gonna start off with the bearings. These are the thrust bearings. So these go on this center. You don't need to lube the backside. You just gotta have everything nice and clean. And then the other one goes on the other side, just like this. I'm using some Lucas assembly lube. Alright, so you gotta be careful with the thrust bearings. It could be difficult installing the crank. Sometimes they move around. Alright guys, so now we got the crank back in there. I'm gonna go get the main caps and then I'll show you guys what's. Alright guys, so here we have the main caps. They're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These already have the bearings on them. Alright guys, so I'm gonna start from the front to the back. These are numbered. This one's number 1, so number 1's gonna go out in the front of the engine. and then we're gonna work on our way out to the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now that we got our main caps put back on, we're gonna spin the crank, make sure it spins freely. So now it's time to install the ARP bolts. I'm gonna start with the center. I'm just gonna tighten them by hand. Oops, I forgot the washer. So I'm gonna start in the center and work my way out. Forget the washers for each bolt. Moving on to the 8mm on the side. I already got one in. So for these, you don't need to install the washers, these washers that come with the bolts, because there's already a washer. I don't know if you could see it right there. I'm missing the one here, but there's already a washer in there. Let me show you on the other side. And it has a little rubber and that prevents oil leaks. Let's screw it in and torque it down. So I'm gonna find another little washer with a little rubber gasket around it, because it looks like I'm missing 3 of them. Okay, so I went ahead and tightened all the bolts by hand. Now, this is very important. You're gonna need a really good torque wrench. This is the one I have. I got this one at the Harbor Freight store. I've been having this one for a couple years now. And honestly, I like it a lot. I use it a bunch actually. And this is I have another one that I got from AutoZone, but it's all mechanical. I like this one because it has the digital gauge, and then it has the degrees and all that. If you want to get the same one, they should still have it at the Harbor Freight store. I know they discontinue a lot of their parts, but they should still have this one, or at least a similar one. And you want to get a digital one because, in my opinion, I think it's more accurate. So I'm going to start from the center. I'm going to do the inner bolts first, which are the 10 millimeter. Alright, so I've been measuring all the bearing caps, and I started from the back, and this is the last one. I'm on this one right here, and so far this is the torque specs that I've been getting for all of them. So for the top bolts, the 10 millimeter, I'm doing three passes. The first one is 18. Then you jump to the 8 millimeter and you do the same thing, 18. And then you jump back to the 10 millimeter and do 44. Jump back to the 8 millimeter, do 26. Jump back up to the 10 millimeter and do 60. Down to the 8 millimeter and do 40. So 60 and 40 is the final torque spec. The side bolt, that one you do at the end, 16 and then 24. But yeah, that's the torque specs that I got. And check out the clearance. I don't know if you can see it right there, but it's right around 0.025 millimeters. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Right there. So right about 0.02 millimeters. 0.025 millimeters. And the clearance for this engine is between 0.022 to 0.040 millimeters. So we are right on the 0.25, so we're good to go. I'm just gonna do this last one, and if it checks out, then we can start torquing down all the main caps, and that's gonna be the final torque spec. So if you want to use this information, you can. So like I said, I'm gonna start with the center cap, center bolt. So we're gonna tighten it to 18 foot-pounds. So set my torque wrench to 18. So that's gonna be stage 1, 18 foot-pounds. Okay, now we're gonna move down to the bottom. Alright, so we got stage 1 done for the 10mm bolts. Now I'm gonna swap over to the 10mm and tighten these outer bolts to 18 foot-pounds. Alright guys, so we completed stage 1 on all the top bolts. The side bolts we're gonna do at the end, so you don't have to worry about those. Alright, so now that we completed stage 1 on all the bolts, I like to let it sit for a couple minutes, at least 5 minutes. So we're gonna move on to stage 2, and for that we're gonna do 44 foot-pounds for the 10mm, which are these in the center, the 10mm, the bigger bolts. So 44 foot-pounds. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing, just repeat the same process. Start from the center. Alright, so that's stage 2 for the 10mm bolts. Now we're gonna do the 8mm, and those we're gonna do 26 foot-pounds. So switch it over to 26. Okay, and then again start from the center. Alright, so we're finished with stage number 2 for all the bolts. Now we're gonna let it sit. I just like to do that for a couple minutes. Alright guys, so we're gonna start with stage 3. We're gonna start from the center. So we're pretty much gonna repeat the same process. Okay, so for 10 millimeters, we're doing 60 foot-pounds. And then we're gonna start from the center. So now we're gonna do the 8 millimeters. These are the outer ones. Okay, so now we're gonna do the side bolts. These only help support the block. Alright, so we got all the bolts torqued down. As you can see, that kind of spins. It's a little bit tighter because it has the assembly lube. That's normal. It's really thick oil. So the next step will be to, oh, it's getting heavier. Yes, it's getting heavier. Come on. It's gonna start to get heavier from this point on. For part 2, we're gonna do pistons and rods, and maybe the oil pan. I just don't wanna make the videos too long. Maybe the oil pan, the oil pump, and all that. The little cam for the fuel pumps. Maybe I put that all in one video. I can't wait to get this thing running. A lot of people ask about the oil squirters for the pistons. I'm not gonna use those. You essentially don't need them. Even for big power, you don't need those oil squirters. And if you do some research, a lot of people actually delete those. But if you guys want to do it, you actually can. You just need to tap into the oil lines. Alright guys, so this is it for this video. Comment down below what you guys think, any ideas I should do. And yeah, that's pretty much for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching.